Alright guys, so today we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to get started designing your cutting board. So first thing is you want to get logged into OnShape, and if you have any folders or anything, make sure that you get into whatever folder. I'm in my cutting boards folder because I've designed a lot of stuff in here, but you of course don't have to do that. So I'm going to come up here to create document. And you can name it whatever you want to name your cutting board design. But anyway, come into OnShape. We're going to start with a sketch, and what you want to do is actually start by sketching out a single piece of the wood that you are going to use for your cutting board. So if you remember, the strips of wood for the cutting board are 1 inch wide and 32 inches long. So I just quick sketched the rectangle here. I'm going to make it 32 inches long, and I'm going to make it 1 inch wide. Alright, so I have that sketched out. That is all I'm going to do for this first initial sketch. Alright, and another thing that I like to do, if you remember, I like to hide the origin and these three planes after I don't need them anymore. So now I'm finished with my sketch. I have it 1 inch by 32 inches, and I'm going to extrude that. How thick you make this extrusion is kind of up to you, but most likely we're going to be somewhere in the 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, so 0.5 to 0.75 inches. And I'll make this 0.75 and keep it on the thicker side. And I'm going to hit OK. Alright, so this is one strip of wood right here. Now right now it doesn't really look like a strip of wood, or at least not a strip of the wood that we've used. So if I come in here to the appearance panel, I can click that button and I can see if I have multiple parts, it'll show the multiple parts here. But part 1, I can come over here to the color, right click on it, edit appearance, and I can choose a color over here that's going to look similar to what the wood that I'm choosing is. And I would say that your maple is somewhere in the white to beige color, and your cherry is maybe a little on the orange to red to tan side. So I'm going to say that this is a piece of maple right here. Okay, and that's probably a little bit more tan than the maple is, but I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to click that to get that out of the way. So there's my one piece of maple. Now, you could draw another sketch to extrude the next piece, but I can actually come over here to extrude and choose the edge of this. This is 3/4 here by 32, what I'm highlighting. I'm going to click on it. You can see I can just extrude that out, and I want to make that come out 1 inch for that width as well. Okay, now I just realized that I made a mistake right here. You can see that there's not any sort of joint showing, and your pieces are going to show a glue joint. So I'm going to come back over here to extrude. I'm going to right click on it and edit, and instead of add, I'm going to choose new, and that's going to make it a separate part and a separate color. And I'm going to come over here to the appearance panel, and I'm going to change this appearance the same way as before. And I can make it the same color as before, but I want this one to be cherry, so I'm going to make it a cherry color. Alright, so now I want to create a pattern. And I could keep doing this. You have 7 pieces. So if you want to do this individually like this for your 7 pieces, that is totally fine. I'm going to come up here to pattern, and I'm going to choose a linear pattern. I'm going to choose my entities that I want to make a pattern of. So I want that part and that part. I'm going to choose my direction, so I'm just going to choose a line that is pointed in the right direction for where I want it to go. And I want this to go down, so I'm going to flip the direction here. And I want the distance, in this case, I have 2 1-inch pieces, so I'm going to have the distance at 2 inches. So that there's 2 of them there, and I'm going to do 3 instances of it. So there are 6 parts. Okay, and I can then add 1 more to this end here, to show that I'd have 4 maple and 3 cherry, but it depends on the dimensions of your board, which way you want to go with. I'm going to add this last one here just to show you the process. Come over to the appearance panel, edit the appearance, and I believe it was this color right here, maybe this one. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so there is my board as glued up. So it's 32 inches long, 7 inches wide. This is the max size of you and your partner's board that you've glued up. So at this stage, now you want to place a sketch on here. And to do this next part, if you want to maximize what your cutting board could possibly be, the max you can do is 7 by 15 inches. So if I draw my rectangle over this, I'm kind of locked into the 7 already because I'm tied into the lines that are already there. But I can change that number there to 15. Right? And I actually want to go back into that sketch, and I'm going to draw another rectangle over the part that I want to get rid of. So now I can come over here to extrude. I'm going to select all of this over here. I'm going to remove, and I'm going to get an error here. And if you click this merge with all, and then we just change this to through all, it should delete everything that you want to get rid of. So now this right here is 7 by 15, and in the pattern that I glued up, this is the maximum size of the board, or the cutting board, that you can end up with. Now if you want to do some other work to this, if you want to round the corners, or you want to design a handle, or if you want to do a serving tray like I had shown in an example, you can do more sketches on here to cut away any parts that you're going to cut away. But basically what is on my screen right now is the maximum dimensions of your finished board. So this is the biggest it can be. If this is the size that you want it, that's perfectly fine. At minimum, around the outside edges of the board, in addition to what's on here, we're also going to do a little bit of a round over. So you can come up here and choose fillet. And the largest you could get away with is 3/8 of an inch, which is what I have on here. But that's kind of cutting it close with a 3/4 inch board. So I'm actually going to make this smaller. I'm going to make it 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to go around and select the edges that I want to fillet to show where I'd be placing my round over. And you can figure out how to go around and do that on all edges that make sense, but there is an example of how to do it. Again, you can be creative with your pattern if you want to do some rounded edges that we cut out with the bandsaw afterwards. If you want to make a handle or handles, you can do that, but this is where you should start.